Did you know that in remote forests of the planet Earth there are giant trees that live thousands and thousands of years? Trees that still live and provide us with oxygen, that began to germinate when the Roman Colosseum was built? Today we will talk about the biggest tree in the world, the General Sherman. The largest tree in the world in terms of wood volume is a giant sequoia, scientifically known as Sequoiadendron giganteum, called General Sherman. This incredible tree is found in Sequoia National Park in California, USA. Although not the tallest tree, General Sherman is the tree with the largest volume of wood in the world, estimated at 1,487 cubic meters, around 52,500 cubic feet. That's equivalent to the amount of wood that would be used to build a lot of houses. General Sherman is believed to be about 2,200 years old. Throughout his life, he has endured storms, droughts, and many other adversities, making him a living witness to thousands of years of natural history. This tree has a height of 83.8 meters, around 275 feet, and a diameter at its base of 7 meters, around 25 feet. If you place a person standing next to the trunk, it would appear to be but a tiny dot compared to its immensity. Giant sequoias, such as General Sherman, have extremely thick bark, up to 30 centimeters thick, around 12 inches, that allows them to resist wildfires, one of the main threats in California's forests. This is because the bark is rich in tannins, chemicals that act as a natural insect and fire repellent. Although it is a tree of enormous size, the giant sequoia's growth is relatively slow, especially when young. In its early years, General Sherman grew at a rate of only 1.5 centimeters, around 0.6 inches in diameter per year, meaning it took centuries to reach its colossal size. Despite being a single tree, General Sherman is part of a very diverse ecosystem. Many species of plants, fungi, insects, and animals depend on this redwood forest. Some creatures, such as birds and squirrels, use the tree and others in the forest as a home, while mycorrhizal fungi in the soil help the tree absorb nutrients. Although General Sherman is the largest, it's not the only giant in Sequoia National Park. Surrounding it are other huge trees, such as General Grant, which is another of the largest trees by volume, and President Tree, which is one of the tallest by overall size. Subscribe to make my channel grow and grow like a giant sequoia. You'll help me a lot to keep creating more and more videos. General Sherman was named after General William Tecumseh Sherman, a famous Union Army commander during the US Civil War. The name was chosen in 1879, long after the tree was already standing. This occurred because it was intended to be given a name that reflected its imposing size and majestic presence, similar to the General. Although these trees had been known to exist in the area for a long time, General Sherman was popularized by scientists and naturalists who began studying and documenting giant sequoias in the 19th century. The national park where it is located, the Sequoia National Park, was created in 1890 to protect these impressive trees. Thanks to the creation of the park and conservation efforts, General Sherman and other giant sequoias have been protected. During the California Golden Rush, the region experienced major forest destructions, but fortunately, General Sherman and its neighbors survived due to their location in remote areas of the park. But what is interesting about the big tree is the story it holds, in which two characters take part without ever meeting, without even crossing paths in the same timeline of history. William Tecumseh Sherman, a white man, and the Native American prophet Tecumseh are related, but in an indirect and somewhat complex way. Both share the same name, Tecumseh, but were different people, belonging to very different contexts and times. The real Tecumseh was a Shawnee Indian leader and a great prophet who fought for the unity of the Native American tribes in their struggle against American westward expansion. Tecumseh believed that Native tribes should unite to defend their lands and way of life, and he became very influential in the political and military arenas of his time. His brother, known as the Prophet, was a spiritual leader who preached a return to Indian traditions and resistance to colonization. He was a Union Army general during the United States Civil War. He is famous for his campaign in the South, especially Sherman's March to the Sea, in which his troops destroyed Confederate Southern infrastructure. Sherman was born in Ohio, but his connection to the name Tecumseh is due to his father, Charles Sherman, who chose to give him this name in honor of the Indian leader Tecumseh. Although there does not appear to have been a direct connection between the Sherman family and Native American tribes, it is likely that Charles Sherman admired the figure of Tecumseh as a military and political leader of great renown. Despite this link in name, the historical links between William Tecumseh Sherman and Tecumseh, the native leader, are not beyond the name. In fact, the figure of William Tecumseh Sherman in US history is controversial in relation to native populations, as he was involved in policies and military actions that negatively affected native tribes during westward expansion. If you like my drawings, you can get your hands on them in my online store. You have the link in the video description and in the pinned comment. Tecumseh, the indigenous leader, was fighting to preserve the lands and culture of his people in the face of European colonization and US aggression. William Tecumseh Sherman, on the other hand, was a US government military commander during a time when the United States was expanding in territory westward under the idea of manifest destiny, which involved a continuing confrontation with native tribes. So, although William Tecumseh Sherman was named after Tecumseh, the Indian leader, his actions and the history of the two characters reflect two very different points of view in American history. In summary, General Sherman, with his imposing size and endurance, represents not only the grandeur of nature, but also a reminder of the struggle to preserve what is precious. Its name, an echo of two contrasting historical figures as Tecumseh, the indigenous leader who defended the land of his people, and William Tecumseh Sherman, the general whose legacy was marked by expansion and destruction, symbolizes the duality between preservation and exploitation. As the tree stands firm, witness to centuries of history, its presence invites us to reflect on the importance of protecting our lands and respecting the natural balance, as once dreamed of by those who fought to preserve them, like the Native American leader Tecumseh. In this tree, beyond its size, beats the eternal lesson that nature, like the cultures that venerate it, deserves to be cared for and respected by future generations.